Hello students. In this video, I'll take up the first chapter of economics, that is development. Now before we start this chapter, let's understand what is the meaning of this word development. If you look up in the dictionary, you will find various meanings of this word like success, progress, expansion, growth, etc. So in this chapter, we'll actually understand the meaning of this word development in terms of economics. Okay, so it is a natural aspiration of every human being to have certain goals and certain desires. Now when these goals and desires are fulfilled, we call it development. So in this first part of the chapter, I'll help you understand how different people have different goals and aspirations, and also how different people have conflicting goals and aspirations. Then apart from this, we'll also understand what are the different types of goals which generally people have. So let's begin this chapter. Now let's understand how different people have different goals by taking up few examples, right? So first, for a landless rural laborer. So just imagine a person who is landless and he is working as a laborer in some other land of some big farmer. So what will be the development goal for him? He would require more days of work, better daily wages, okay, so that his income improves and he can actually have a better standard of living. For a prosperous farmer, let's say of Punjab, for him the development goal will be increase in his income by better minimum support price offered by the government, then availability of hard working cheaper labor in his region. So that would be his development goal. Then for a farmer who depends only on rain for irrigation of his crops, for him the development goal will be maybe construction of a canal or a tube well in his area so that he can irrigate his field throughout the year and have better harvest. Next, for a rural woman from a land owning family. So she might require some educational opportunities in the village, opening of school or college for higher education. She might ask for equality among as much freedom which is given to his brother, to her brother. All right, so she might demand the gender equality in the house. Next is for an urban unemployed youth. For him, the developmental goal will be better job opportunities in his area, and maybe more opportunities for skill development so that he can get the jobs easily. For a boy from a rich family, the development goal will be totally different. He might ask for availability of latest gadgets in the local market, or maybe a trip abroad. All right. A girl from a rich family, maybe she wants to go abroad for higher studies. She might ask for equal freedom what is given to her brother, right? So gender equality and such could be the development goals of this girl. For an Adivasi from Narmada Valley. So as you know, there is a plan to construct a huge dam in the Narmada Valley. For that, the Adivasis who are residing in that area, they have to be actually shifted to some other area because of the reservoir, the huge encatchment area. Because the whole large area gets submerged into water whenever a dam is constructed. So the goal for that Adivasi would be like he would not like that dam to be constructed so that he doesn't have to move from his natural habitat where he is living presently. Or he might ask for adequate compensation from the government. So you understand from these examples that different people have different developmental goals, and these goals actually depend upon their present social conditions and the economic conditions. Now your developmental goal would be different from my developmental goal. What you might ask for a increase in your monthly pocket money, but goal for me would be a little different. So it all depends upon our current social conditions and our current economic conditions. So That is why different people can have different developmental goals, okay, because their needs are different and because the life situations are different. Another example, a person living in a remote village, he will ask for a pakka road in his village, or maybe opening up of a small dispensary or a primary school would be developmental goal for him. But on the other hand, a person living in urban area, the development goal will be different. He would maybe he would desire a faster transport means or construction of elevated road, which would actually lead to lesser traffic congestion in the urban areas. So it all depends upon present situation in which people are living. Alright. So different people have different developmental goals. But there are other situations in which different people have contradictory or conflicting developmental goals. What does this word means? It means that what is development for one may be destructive for the other. Okay, then we call it conflicting developmental goals. Let's understand this with a very simple example. There is a small scale industry. The employer or the owner, he wants to increase his profit by actually not increasing the salary of his employees, so that his profit increases, his income will improve. On the other hand, the employees or the laborers who are working in this industry, they want increase in their income, alright, so that their standard of living improves. So these goals are conflicting, okay. If goal of the employer is achieved, then the goal of employees will not be achieved. So such goals are called conflicting developmental goals. Another very good example is a dam. Okay, I just gave you an example of a dam which is being planned in the Narmada Valley. So the industrialists in the nearby region, they want more dams to be constructed so that there are more powerhouses and there is better electricity supply in the regions to run the industry. But on the other hand, large number of people have to be evacuated from the catchment area, okay, to construct those dams and powerhouses. So for them, for those people living in that area, for them the developmental goal will be not construction of huge dam, but maybe some small dams or tanks just to avoid the floods, so that they do not have to get displaced from their area. So these are again conflicting developmental goals. Goals of the tribal people living in that area and goal of the industrialist. These are conflicting from each other. Alright. So you understand that different people have different developmental goals and sometimes different people have conflicting developmental goals. So next topic is, let's understand what are the general developmental goals which people have. I just gave you many examples of farmers, of youth in the urban area, boys and girls. They have different goals. So what are the general categories of goals that people have? First of all, it is the income. Okay, it is the first and the most important goal of every individual. We just saw few examples that people want regular work, better wages, decent prices for their crops. So all these actually lead to more income so that they can buy basic items and also other material goods, because to buy anything you need money. So better income is first and a very important goal of every individual, because it improves the standard of living. But you must also understand that having only income goal is only the income is not enough. People need other things to lead a good life. So what are the other goals? Let's understand that. There are certain other goals also. Alright. So the developmental goals that people have are not only better income but also other important things. For example, equal treatment, that is equality in the society, freedom, security, respect, better job opportunities, better healthcare facilities, etc. So these things, they can't be measured, but they mean a lot to us, to the people living in that region. Sometimes what happens, these goals are even more important than income. Alright. So material goals, after all, they are not all that you need to live for. So let's take an example to understand these other goals. For example, when you grow up, you got job offer. So there are two job opportunities, let's say job A and B. So job A is giving you higher income, but won't be any job security. It will be far away from your home. There will be long working hours and you will not be able to spend quality time with your family. On the other hand, there is job B, which in comparison, it is giving you lesser income, but there will be a good working atmosphere, then there will be opportunity to learn and you will have more time to spend with your family. So if you think about it, then you will obviously go and prefer to have job B. Because although it is giving you lesser income, but there are other factors which are also important in our lives, like a good working atmosphere, having job security, having able to spend some time with your family. So these are the other goals which people desire. So for development, people look at mix of goals, not only income but there is a mix of few goals. Another example is working women. If a good working environment is created for women, then women will start earning. There will be better dignity and respect in household as well as in society for the women, and moreover there will be more share of household work within a house, alright, between men and women. So this way we can say that different people have different goals, but even a single individual might have a mix of few goals. Okay, let's see some questions regarding this topic. Let's work this out. Question number 1. Why do different peoples have different notions of development? Which of the following explanation is more important? Whether it is because people are different or because life situations of people are different. So I told you different people have different notions of development which depends upon their current social and economic condition. So this B option is correct, that life situations of persons are different. People who are living in rural areas will have different goals as compared to people living in urban area. Alright, a girl will have a different developmental goal than a boy living in the same house. You ask your sibling and compare what are different developmental goals of you and your friends or your siblings. So this will help you understand that how different people think about development in different manner. Okay. Next question. Do the following two statements mean the same? Justify your answer. The two statements are: people have different developmental goals and people have conflicting developmental goals. These do not mean the same. Okay. These two statements have different meaning, having different developmental goals. You can give any example. I just discussed so many examples with you, a rural laborer, an urban rich boy, urban unemployed youth. They all have different developmental goals. But having conflicting developmental goal is a different situation in which the developmental goal for one is actually destructive for the other. For example, an industrialist and a tribal area living in Narmada Valley, which I just told you about. So, alright, so I hope this situation is clear to you. Next question, give some examples where factors other than income are important aspect of our lives. So, I just gave you example of two types of jobs. So, here I told you that people or anyone actually will prefer to go to job B because it is offering other things which are very important for our life, like equality, freedom, dignity, respect, security, etc. So that is why we say people have mix of goals, not only income, not just income. Next question, explain some of the important ideas of the above section in your own words. So what we have just discussed is the meaning of development, then how different people have different developmental goals depending upon current economic status and current social status. Then we discussed how different people have conflicting developmental goals. What is development for one might be destructive for the other. Alright, so you can write all this in your own words. Next topic is national development. National development, as the name suggests, it means the development of nation as a whole. So although different people have different development goals, and regarding national development also, different people will have different notions. I will say India is developing if there is less corruption. Alright, you might have a different notion. Maybe when there is a decrease in the population growth, when there is less pollution, when there are more job opportunities, or when we reduce the poverty. So all of us will have different notions of national development. So national development means finding a fair and a just path for all the citizens. We need to actually take into account the developmental goals of maximum number of people living in that country. So to find a better way of doing things which would benefit all, okay, not only the rich section or the better section of the society, but it should encompass all the sections of the society. Let's work this out. Look at this picture. What should be the developmental goal of such an area? Look at this picture, a nice high-rise building, okay, with apartments, and along with it a slum area is where poor section of the society are living, just adjacent to each other. So what should be the developmental goal for this region? Just have a thought about it. Just think about it. Okay, so the immediate developmental goal would be provision of sanitation, water supply, etc. in the slum area. Then the long-term developmental goal could be resettlement of the slum dwellers into apartments, okay, building pakka houses and then shifting these slum dwellers into those houses. Also, more job employment opportunities for the weaker section of the society so that they don't have to live in such conditions. Alright, so developmental goal actually should look at the benefit of all the sections, not only about the people who are already rich or who are already having the resources. Okay, another example which will help you understand the notion of national development. Read this newspaper report and answer the question. So I'll just read this report for you. A vessel dumped 500 tons of liquid toxic waste into open air dumps in a city and in the surrounding sea. This happened in the city called Abidjan in Ivory Coast, a country in Africa. The fumes from the highly toxic waste caused nausea, skin rashes, fainting, diarrhea, etc. After a month, 7 persons were dead, 20 were in hospital, and 26,000 were treated for the symptoms of poisoning. Actually, what had happened, a multinational company dealing in petroleum and metals had contracted a local company of the Ivory Coast to dispose of the toxic waste from its ship. So now just think about the situation. Alright, there was a multinational company who contacted a local company, and they, without actually thinking about the consequences, they dumped the toxic waste in open air dump. Alright, so let's see two questions regarding from this post. Who are the people who are benefited and who did not? So the people who got benefited were first the multinational company. They got rid of their toxic waste from the ship, and second is the local company because they were paid for doing this job. But who did not get benefit? They were the local people. Local people actually suffered because of this. Alright, so next question is, what should be the developmental goal for this country? The developmental goal for this country should be to set up a treatment plant for disposing of the toxic waste, and also to set up strict rules and regulations so that such incidences are now not repeated. Okay, so this will give you an idea what is national development. It should think about all the people living in that country. Next, what can be some of the developmental goals of your village, town or locality? Alright, so just look around your area and think about some of the developmental goals which you think which actually would help your town or your village or your city where you are living. Okay, maybe construction of broader roads, maybe planting of more trees, or maybe covering better sewage system, better water supply system, opening up of more schools and colleges. So it all depends upon the present situation where you are living, and everyone actually wants to actually progress from where they are, the level they are at present. Now, next, another activity related to this. If the idea of what constitutes development can be varied and conflicting. So I just told you the idea of development is so varied, it varies from people to people, and sometimes it is also conflicting. Then certainly there can be differences about the ways of developing. Alright. So if you know of any such controversy, try to find out arguments advanced by different people. You can find it from newspaper or television. So just read newspaper of last 1 week. You will find many instances. Government makes certain plans to maybe to construct a high-speed bullet train, or to construct a road, or maybe a statue somewhere. Alright. So there are certain category of people who will agree with it and who will support them. But there will be other category of group of people who will be against it. So because we have different notions of development. Okay, I would say rather than spending on a statue, we should spend on opening a school, which would benefit a large number of children who are the future of our country. So that is why we say, although different people have different notions, so there are different ways also of how the government actually plans development, and different people, they argue among each other, and it is the duty of the government actually to look at the view of all the majority of the citizens and finding a fair path to carry out development. So that's all from this part of the chapter. Now please watch my next video for the subsequent part. Thank you.